the future 6th Hokage and the future Pirate King went at it in an all-out fight, and I'm pretty sure you know what I'm talking about, Naruto Uzumaki versus Monkey D. Luffy, who would win? Now, I'm like, before I even give my, opinion, I'm pretty sure most of you already know out there what I actually think. Please watch this whole video all the way through, hear everything I have to say, and then comment if you're directing it towards me. But anyway, I think Naruto would win. Now, I'm not just saying, oh, I think Naruto would win just for the sake because I like Naruto more or something like that. Like, no. Like, the thing is, Naruto has, now, Luffy just showed in the most recent chapter, he has a pretty sweet move, Gumu Gumu no Red Hawk, which, I'm like, before I was thinking, oh, Luffy doesn't have anything that actually, is something different than just your average powerful punch. Now he actually has an explosion coming with his punch, so I think that's pretty sweet. But Naruto has a lot of different abilities that, a lot of diverse abilities, way more than Luffy does. Now, I know some of you guys saying, oh, Luffy has Gear 2, he has Gear 3rd. Like, the thing is, Naruto, I don't know, like, if you think about it, Naruto has, like, his shadow clones, and some of you guys say, oh, that's all he has, shadow clones, Rasengan. If you think about it in a large scale, that's, in a sense, he has more than that. He has his Sage mode, he has his Nine-Tailed Chakra mode, he has his chakra hands, the little arms that can come out in any part of his body, which in my opinion, if he were using that, like, that would essentially, he'd be able to do like what Luffy, can do. Luffy can stretch. I mean, it's not all Luffy does, of course. He has his, pistol punches and all that good stuff. But, I almost feel like he has reach, just like Luffy does. Luffy has a lot of reach. I think that's also what makes him kind of a hard fighter, that his punch can go a distance. And he has some speed and he has some power, but it's not like Naruto doesn't have speed and power either. Which is why I think, because it's like, okay, Naruto's Rasengan, I think it's fair to say that, your average Rasengan is either equal to or maybe more than your average jet pistol. That's just my opinion. I'm like, and I'm like, I would say that Luffy's probably his strongest move besides like maybe a Gear 3rd pistol or whatnot is probably, his Jet Gatling. And I'm like, I would love to see him do that, while he's like when he uses his hockey and use it, where it's a bunch of explosions and stuff. That would be really sweet to see. But Naruto can make thousands of clones. He can, we also know he can make giant Rasengans. Now he can even make it in his base form that we found out. Like, oh, and I'm like, that's being pretty sweet if you ask me. And it's not like his giant Rasengan is just weak or something like that. I'm like, his giant Rasengan is actually pretty darn strong. I mean, it's, made giant summons the size of Cheeto fly away. Not saying Luffy hasn't knocked out giant stuff before, because obviously he has. But if Naruto were in the One Piece universe, it's pretty much safe to say that his power, if from part one, if he had a Devil Fruit power, like in One Piece, if he went to One Piece, it would probably be Shadow Clones. Now, that's a jutsu, of course, but I'm saying, like, if he, I'm like, that's basically his main style of fighting, or at least it used to be mainly what he uses. I mean, he's been using it right now in the manga, and he has his basic ninja techniques, which I think also could help him out in battle. Like, I mean, some of you guys are saying, oh, that's not much help or something like that. Like, Naruto, knows how to make diversions and all that good stuff, and it's not like if him and Luffy went at it that Luffy would be able to recognize these little diversions, like, oh, I know that's a clone or something like that, or I know this is this and I know this is that, because, he's not in the Naruto universe. Same thing with Naruto. Naruto wouldn't necessarily know all, like, Luffy's about his punches, can extend as far as they can, right off rip. So both of them would be fresh to find out and learn while they're fighting what each other can do. Now, to go on to speed, I know this is a big argument. Like, some people try to say Luffy would speed blitz everybody in Naruto and everybody in Bleach, and I'm like, in my opinion, Luffy is fast. I'm not saying he's not fast, but I don't really see him speed blitzing everybody in Naruto or Bleach at all. I mean, I don't know, like, I think Luffy still has ways to go in his own universe, which he does. And to be honest, if I use Whitebeard as an example, Whitebeard was extremely strong. But who's to say Whitebeard, I mean, I think Madara is stronger than Whitebeard in my opinion, but, if who's to say that I mean, if we put Luffy like Luffy's not even at Whitebeard's level, and I think Naruto personally could go toe to toe with Whitebeard and probably beat him most likely. I think he could beat Whitebeard. And I'm talking about not just the old Whitebeard, but a younger Whitebeard. That's just my opinion. Because I mean, but as far as Luffy, I'm like Luffy speed and power. Yes, he has a lot. He's not definitely not slow, but I see Luffy more at a Rock Lee speed as far as Rock Lee is fast. He is really fast, but he's not the fastest character in the series. Like there are faster characters, and nobody can say Rock Lee is just way slower than Luffy. In actuality, when Luffy goes into his gear second, he speeds the blood in his body and all that good stuff, and his body is, I guess he's receiving damage in a way, but he probably doesn't receive damage anymore since part 2, because he's learned how to have better control over, he can even put it in certain parts of his body, his gear 2, but I'm like, Luffy, I don't know, like, I guess I would say that Luffy, I'm like, and Rock Lee, like Rock Lee kind of does the same thing with his gear 2. I mean, not gear 2, his gates. He does the same thing in a sense that, if you ever notice, his blood speeds up was now he's releasing chakra on different parts of his body, but it also turns on certain parts of his body as well. His blood speeds up. That's why his face gets red and all that stuff. So I mean, Rock Lee was never slow. So to me, in personal opinion, it's not really an insult to Luffy to say Rock Lee, and Luffy are actually, around the same speed. At least right now, I mean, he's probably a little bit faster than part 2. I mean, part 1, Rock Lee, possibly. As far as just with the weights off. I don't know about when he goes to Gates, but I'm like, I mean, I think now, before, if I get any hate from people thinking, what, you think Luffy, Rock Lee can beat Luffy? No, I do not think Rock Lee can beat Luffy. I think Guy can do it, but I don't think that Rock Lee has any chance to beat Luffy, because Luffy is made of rubber and he couldn't hurt him in any sort of way as far as just beating him down. I mean, because Luffy also has good hand-to-hand combat as well, and he has a little bit more than Rock Lee as far as techniques that we've seen, well, a lot more, because he has his gear 3rd and all that. But just to go back to Naruto and Luffy, Naruto has more variety of techniques. He even has an element, wind style Rasen Shuriken. Now, whether you just say, oh, it's a Rasengan, whatever, I mean, it's still wind. It is still a wind style jutsu, whether you want to consider it that or not. I think Naruto is faster because he is faster than Raikage, who definitely is not slow. Now, for some of you saying, oh, Raikage isn't faster than Luffy, I'm like, Raikage was able to dodge Amaterasu, and don't act like Amaterasu is just nothing to dodge, because think about it this way. When you have Sharingan, you can already see miles away of where somebody is about to move. And Sasuke already couldn't follow Raikage's movements hardly. And not only that, but I'm like, Raikage used, like, I don't know, how would I put this? Raikage, I don't know, I just really think that Luffy really could not keep up with Raikage as far as, you have to in order to dodge Amaterasu, first of all, you have to know that somebody's about to use it, or have an idea. So Luffy wouldn't even recognize the blood dripping from the eye and all that for, off rip. He'd probably just be looking if he saw Amaterasu. And Amaterasu, it's just you're staring at the opponent, and they burst into flames. So you have to be You have to be able to recognize it extremely fast and be able to dodge extremely fast. So in other words, if you're saying that an Uchiha, Luffy can move faster than an Uchiha can look at them, then I think that's saying too big. Luffy has gotten hit by stuff before, way slower than Amaterasu. But generally, I just think Naruto is stronger than Luffy. I think, he has, with Rasen Shuriken. I'm putting the Tail Beast Bomb in this scenario because obviously he's going to finish it pretty soon. We know that.